So without warning, we're back with yet another interview. Got my boy Rhakim Ali in the building.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So let's start off with talking a little bit about your background. So when I first heard your music, I'm not going to lie, bro. I thought you were like 24, 25. Coming to find out you're what, 19?
Yeah, I turned 20 next month.
All right, yeah, so 19 years old, and you had music on YouTube like going back like 5 years ago. So you were like 14 years old at the time when you started.
Yeah, I was I like first got into it when I was about like 9 or 10 years old.
Oh wow.
And this was just making beats, just like playing around on a computer and whatnot. And then as I got older and I like just started like taking it serious, I didn't start taking it serious until I was about like 12 years old. And then from there on, it was just like nothing but just doing music, just trying to get it done.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like most guys you hear them say like, yeah, I started around like 17, 18, got serious like early 20s, but you were definitely coming early with the sound well beyond your years.
Yeah.
So you said that you started off producing before you really got into rap, or did it happen simultaneously?
I feel like it did happen simultaneously. I know my first like earliest memory of me rapping when I was about like probably like 5, 6 years old, because it's been around my family a lot. So like my father actually rapped and produced. A lot of my uncles rapped or produced. Like my mom rapped for a while. So like it was always around me. So it was just like within a moment of time I would catch on to it, and it just so happened that that was the case. So.
Yeah, what kind of things were they like playing in the house that you were listening to kind of influenced you early on?
Oh, my mom was just kind of like, she's like mad old school, so she will always play like all of the like New York stuff. Like she played DMX, and he's like one of my favorite rappers of all time. Because of that, she would play like Wu-Tang Clan, Onyx, and stuff like that. And with my father being from down south, like I heard his stuff like 3 6 Mafia and like Lil Flip and stuff like that. So I was getting like the best of both worlds music wise. So, yeah.
That's what's up. Would you say their music influenced your sound at all?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. Within like a lot of my songs, you can hear it. You can hear the influences, because I know I can definitely hear them. So yeah.
What about like more contemporary artists that you were in tune with? Because like I noticed on YouTube you had like Earl Sweatshirt, A$AP Rocky type beat that went up like crazy, like over 2 million views. Yeah, like tapped in with those guys, and who else?
Yeah, so definitely as I got older, I gained more influences, and this was just me being like music curious on my own. So Earl Sweatshirt was definitely an influence. Guys like Doom and A$AP Rocky and stuff like that, Kanye West. A whole lot. I listen to a lot. I try to listen to a lot of things, not just rap, because there's a lot of like bands and stuff that I like, and artists like singers and stuff, and they, with like whatever influence I can take is I'll take it. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the genre is.
I feel like the time that you kind of really started getting into like producing and rapping seriously, like kind of like the 2013, 14 era, definitely a great time for music.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Like with Earl, like you had like Doris coming out then. Like, A$AP Rocky with his first album that year too.
Those years were the best. I would say for music wise, those was one of my favorite years, because it was too much creativity. It was like a whole bunch from people like around here, and just like famous people that we were listening to at the time. So there was a lot of inspiration going on around those years. So those are one of my favorites, most definitely.
For a fact. Yeah, I saw in that like Earl A$AP beat that I was talking about, people were like writing verses in the comments, sample digging in the comments. So someone said found the sample actually, said it's Johnny Payton, his orchestra, The Look of Love. Yeah. Have you kind of always been sample hunting like that? I felt like that was a unique sound. When I listened to that, it didn't sound anything really like what the final product was.
Dude, I was thinking about that last week. Like I was just scrolling through YouTube just to like listen to people who's like rapping to it, and I ended up finding this music video, and they were rapping in Spanish, and it caught me off guard. I'm just like, how did they even get in touch with that? Like it's weird, but that just goes to show, like, dude, like this music shit is everywhere, bro.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it
global
doesn't matter
now.
It's global, and I definitely like appreciated that. So it was good. I don't even remember like what went on when I made that beat. I just remember me hearing a sample, and I'm just like, this is fire. Yeah. And then I uploaded it. I didn't think it was gonna hit those numbers. So I'm like, really, I'm grateful. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Your tape, Devil Don't Sleep, is definitely something that, honestly, one of our guys, Mike O'Neill, one of the first dudes that was listening to our podcast, was constantly sending us your shit. Like, yo, tapping with Rhakim.
That's crazy.
And, bro, ever since I took a listen, I can't get my ears off of it, bro.
Yeah,
and I was interested in, like, who's on your team? Like, who's helping you in this selection process for, like, the songs? Or is it just you behind the scenes? Or
I definitely wouldn't give myself all of the credit. It is me for the most part, but I do have guys like my friend Isaac. He makes beats. He's the one who takes my pictures and stuff like that. He helps me a lot. I'll like send him stuff and he'll just be like, yo, like this is good, or change this, change that. I have a friend named Wayne. He goes by Speak. He's a producer and he's like rapping and stuff like that now. And I send him a lot of my stuff because Isaac's not a yes man. Wayne's not a yes man either, but he'll like tell me straight up like, yo, you need to fix this or fix that or change this, or I don't like how this sounds too low. So he's definitely like one of the guys that's behind me within like making music and finalizing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's what's up. I can definitely tell that with your music. Like your moves definitely seem choreographed, like very well thought out. And
that's why it does take me a long time to like finish albums and stuff like that. Me personally, I just feel like I need everything structured.
Yeah.
In order for me to get going, I don't like moving without like a structured plan, because then it feels like I'm just like running in place. I'm not really going anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you mentioned to me before when we were off air that you're in school as a film major.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite songs in Devil Don't Sleep is probably Citizen Kane. Orson Welles movie, something like William Randolph Hearst.
Yeah, I had to watch that movie, and I ended up like writing a paper on it.
Oh,
and
word.
then from there, so that's where
awesome.
like the name came from and shit like that.
Yeah, I noticed like kind of a lot of your songs are based on like movie themes, like St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, that's a fire movie.
Nosferatu.
Oh yeah, I like I try to put in a lot of movie influences in my music, like whether it's like an interlude or like sampling stuff from movies. Like I just love movies. It helps. It definitely does help with music too. Whether it's like me finding like a sample on a soundtrack or like coming up with like a line or a metaphor or something like that, it's good.
And I also feel like that album kind of almost is like cinematic in a way. Where when I was listening to it, I kind of like felt like there's like kind of theme going on there. So you have like the intro and then like take over and bankroll. It's like kind of like the come up. Yeah. Like glory, you're there. And then Citizen Kane is like all like that's a movie all about. It's like corruption.
Yeah.
The downfalls of power, basically. So is that kind of like how you envision that?
Yeah, definitely. I like making my albums like movies within a sense. I know I did that on this project I dropped in 2016 called When the Smoke Clears. I feel like that is probably like the most, I would say, movie-ish type project that I've made, because just like from beginning to end, you can just feel it, and it's just like not like a decline in emotion, but you can feel the change within each song as it plays out. So yeah, hell yeah, I definitely try to like make movies out of my music. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Good. So like, going on to that, your lyrical content is definitely intriguing, and I can definitely see that film aspect in your music. You have bars like, I'm not a rapper, I'm a novelist. like you're a writer. Do you ever think you would get into creating your own actual films?
Oh yeah, most definitely. That's one thing I've like always wanted to do ever since I was like young. Just like watching Tarantino films.
I was about to say, any favorite directors?
Oh yeah, him. I like Michael Bay movies. Like I just like a whole bunch of stuff. Like I just seen this one film called Falling Down. I think Michael Douglas is in it. I don't remember who directs it, but that's like a really good movie. I love it.
Yeah. One thing I fuck with about Tarantino movies is how like a lot of them have like the non-linear storyline, like different scenes you got like paced together. You kind of like try to do that with a project like Kendrick, like when you're out like Good Kid, Mad City, how it's kind of out of order but all makes sense in the end.
Yeah, I seen Reservoir Dogs like not too long ago, bro, and that movie was just like, it's perfect in my eyes. Like it doesn't. I'm not gonna say it doesn't have a storyline, but it does take time for you to like understand what's going on, and I like stuff like that. It's kind of like, it's like puzzle pieces, and you just got to put it together.
Facts. I feel like in like Tarantino movies, a lot of the dialogue just goes on and on and on. You're thinking it makes no sense, but like in the end, like you realize how it's like kind of it does, or it's like setting up a character and their development. And like how you're gonna perceive them for the rest of the movie.
That's a fact. Tarantino's that dude, man. I gotta see his new movie. I haven't seen it yet.
So in this last year, you also dropped like Stream of Fire singles, Nosferatu, St. Elmo's Fire, Black Jesus.
Yeah.
And I know those all have visuals with them up on YouTube. You got Isaac LaRue.
Yeah.
Is he your like main videographer?
Nah,
or anyone
yeah.
else?
Yeah, that's my guy, dude. I met him around like 2014, 15 years old. And it's funny because he thought I was like around like 25, 26.
Right.
I was like 14, dude. So we ended up like linking up one day and we were just like playing beats for each other and stuff like that. And then he was just like, yo, like I got this camera if you like ever want to take pictures and stuff like that. And we like took pictures and then we didn't like make our first music video until like 2016 or 17. And then from there on, it was just like, we were just like either shooting videos or taking pictures. And then like he's produced a couple tracks for me. But yeah, that's my dude.
Yeah. Do you have a pretty like hands-on process when you're making videos too, knowing that you like kind of your film background and your interest in that? Or are you like?
Yeah, I like try to plan things ahead of time. So if I'm like making a song or a single that I know I want to like make a music video for, I kind of like envision the music video within the song.
Right.
So it kind of like goes hand in hand when I'm making either or.
I kind of wanted to know, you grew up here, obviously. I kind of wanted to know your view of like the music scene and how it's changed from when you first started making music to where it's at now, and if there's anybody you'd want to work with.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember like when I first started, there wasn't really like a lot of like rappers around here, and not even saying that's like a good or a bad thing, but I just remembered like it was like limited. It was like very few, like a lot of local scenes and like venues weren't really doing any rap shows. And as time went on, like it just kept growing and growing, like more artists kept appearing. So that's something I definitely appreciate, because we're actually turning this city into like a rap orientated city, which is it's really good. And I'm honored to say that I was here like during the process to see that shit grow.
For sure. I think the next step is like pushing more venues to host these local concerts, because we don't have enough of them, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like more like rap stations interviewing local rappers, being more tapped in, things like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's gonna happen. It's definitely bound to happen. If it grew like this within a matter of years, there's no telling what's gonna happen in the near future. But I definitely do like appreciate everybody. Like everybody's out here doing their own thing. Like there really isn't a lot of like rap beefs or like people like hating on one another. So I really appreciate that. Like we're coming together as like a community of artists and videographers and photographers and stuff like that. Even you guys like doing this podcast and shit like that. We're just like, it's growing overall, not just with music, but with videos and pictures and other stuff.
Right. Yeah, I feel like it has to get there just with the sheer number of creatives there are. Like you talked about tons of people rapping now, starting a podcast, doing videography.
Yeah.
You mentioned like kind of where it's hasn't progressed yet as much as like where the venues and like opportunities to perform. But I saw like one guy I think is doing a good job of cultivating that environment is DJ Hollywood. And I saw you've done a ton of his showcases.
He was there at the show the other day. I was talking to him. That's my guy too. He ended up he got me my first show at the Fuse Box, and I've been wanting to perform there for a while. And he also got me booked for my first show in the city. So I definitely hell yeah, bro. I've been wanting to perform in the city for years, and I finally got to do it in November. So definitely big shout out to him for that. I appreciate that for real.
Yeah. What was that show down in the city like? What was the venue? What was the environment?
It was kind of like, I know I can compare it to a place down here. It was kind of like the venue I was at the other day. So
Which
it was
like, what was that?
Mint?
Yeah, it was like Mint. It was like very similar to Mint. It had like this big stage, and there was like a little bar on the side. It was mad people there. They showed mad love and shit like that. I know I had to like not make a name for myself, but I know I had to leave like a
imprint.
Yeah, I had to leave an imprint there with me being from upstate and shit like that. A lot of those city artists, they were good. They were good. There was a lot of good energy and shit like that. I had mad fun.
Yeah. One thing I like about you and your artistry too is you seem like you're a really do it by yourself guy. Kind of like controlling all facets. Just in addition to self-producing Devil Don't Sleep, which
Yeah.
I think is incredible. You also did the cover art. Is that something you've done for all your projects?
Not all my projects. I've done the cover art for all of my projects except the first one I did in like 2013. But other than that, I've like always done cover art. That's another thing I've been like really trying to get into because I enjoy cover art a lot. Like sometimes I'll just like look at just cover art, just try to grab inspiration from there. Producing, I've always wanted to self-produce a project. So for me, being able to do that in 2018 was like, it was an honor. And then now as I move on, because it took me a while to get used to my own beats, as weird as that sounds, but I just kind of I wasn't like making the stuff that I was comfortable rapping to.
I see.
So it took me a while to like grow as a producer and then start rapping to my own stuff. So now that I'm like used to it, it's nothing, like it's easy to me now.
Yeah.
So now that I like finished, I like mastered that lane, I can go back to having other people produce for me. So
I see.
Yeah.
When you have other people produce for you, what are you looking for when you're trying to decide like what's gonna make your project or what you're gonna write bars to?
I try not to limit their creativity. I'm at a point where I'm comfortable to rap on almost anything. So if it's like, you can send me this, you can send me like a lo-fi beat, you can send me like a jazz type beat or a trap beat, like I'm willing to write to anything. As long as it fits the sound of the album, I like really don't care what it sounds like.
That's what's up.
Yeah, kind of segue to that. You Should Be Sorry, dropped in February.
Yeah.
Are we to expect a very different sound from Devil Don't Sleep? Is it going to be different producers on it? Is it 100% self-produced by you again?
Oh no, yeah, there's definitely gonna be a whole bunch of producers on it. I've been having people like send me stuff within these last couple of weeks, and it's been amazing, man. I like just finished a couple songs like the other day, but it's gonna be a really good project for a couple of reasons. Like I haven't dropped a project this big in 2016. I was a sophomore in college when I dropped my last project this big, and then now it's like I'm a sophomore in college, so it's just like I kind of got to like make up for like lost time and stuff like that. So I'm definitely gonna make sure this one is good. There's a lot of stuff I haven't talked about since 2016, just like normal like life shit going on. So that a lot of that is gonna be talked about on the album, even stuff that like that's happened recently. So it's gonna be good. I feel like this is gonna be one of my best projects to date. Just for me being like more open with my life and like being more honest and being more diverse as far as my beat selection goes and my lyricism and stuff like that, and song structure is gonna be it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering like what the lyrical direction would be on that project, because like when I hear You Should Be Sorry, like I kind of think about revenge, or like is that kind of accurate description of like what the theme is, or is it something else?
So overall the theme is just like me reflecting on stuff that's happened in my life, you know what I mean, like with me like graduating high school and like going through like breakups with like friends and like family and stuff like that. And as I'm like reflecting all of this, I'm kind of like figuring out if I should point the finger at myself and I should be sorry, or the person in that situation should be sorry. So it's kind of like a dilemma.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
That's gonna be
To expect any other local artists to be on this album, or is it just you?
Oh no, yeah, I definitely got a couple local artists. I sent some beats to Slim. I had to send some beats to Demi. He hit me up the other day. I had texted him. I definitely got to get something with the Glocks going. I know I have Swinky Hendrix. That's my dude. I've been working with him for a while. Hell yeah. That's been my guy for a minute, man. Like I remember I like sending beats. A lot of his projects, like I've made the cover art for them, and I like working with him. He's a cool dude. Like even outside of music, he's a chill ass dude.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. I kind of don't want to give out too many details, but I do have some. I got some stuff going on.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
I feel like Swanky definitely has a sound that would compliment her as well.
Yeah.
It's a creative ass dude for sure.
He's a character.
Also, in addition to he's like tapped into modeling and everything. I saw you did a little bit for Play Dead. Is that something you're into?
Yeah, I definitely. That's another thing, dude. Just like clothes and fashion, I've always had an eye for that. That's my guy. Rob is that dude. I was just talking to him the other day. I might end up like working with him and like collaborating on him with something. So that should be coming pretty soon. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I definitely fuck with the creativity and graphic design.
Fashion, dude, and that's another thing. That's another thing about Albany. I like forgot to mention that even with the music, like there's a lot of like clothing people out here, and they're like their shit is good.
Yeah,
which is
definitely
good,
kind of bubbling streetwear scene.
Yeah.
I noticed you also had like releases come out with Inner Ocean Records.
Yeah.
Which I fuck with because I think it looks like their thing is like doing physical releases, like cassette tape, shit like that. You feel like that's important in like the streaming age to have hard copies as well?
I feel like it is. I have some cassettes of my own from the stuff that I released through them. Because I was always personally a fan of physical releases over like digital stuff, so I feel like just having it and being able to like hold it and like look at the information within it and stuff like that, I feel like that's as important as the music, because you always want to know like who's making this or who's doing that, and just being able to like read it and just like understand it. It's pretty cool. I enjoy it. So I try to push physical releases.
Facts. I feel like it means more as a consumer too. Like if I go out and actually buy someone's project physically and have to like put it in the vinyl, like cassette, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I also saw the Ocean, like they have kind of beat tapes that they put out that you're featured on. What was that process like getting on that?
That was pretty fun. So the dude who like runs it, his name is Corey. He'll just like let me know like ahead of time, like, yo, like we're releasing this, or they'll like post it and I'll just be like, I'll email something soon, and I'll just like make a beat, or I'll like just send something that I already made, email it to him, and then he'll just end up like putting it on a tape and I'll just be featured on it like that. He's a cool dude. He's like open to just about anything.
Yeah.
He likes good music.
That's what's up.
So there's a lot of releases on there. There's a lot of cool people on that label as well that I've worked with, and just in general, like that label is just it's good. It's good energy, good vibes, good people.
Yeah.
Is there a lane you could ever see yourself committing to one way, to just producing or just rapping? Is there anyone you're more comfortable with, or it's just too seamless?
I don't want to say it's too seamless. If I had to pick, I would probably say rapping, only because like it's more of a challenge. Because as I like just kept making beats, it like just kind of got easy to me. But rapping is just like being able to like write, to turn that into like not only words but like rhyming words as well. I feel like that's just more of a challenge than just making a beat.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel you can definitely push way more boundaries. I wouldn't say way more boundaries, but you can push a lot of different creative boundaries and limits when you're rapping. As to producing, it kind of gets very similar to what other people are doing around you. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I just feel like there's more of a, not a limitation, but you do have to fit a certain structure when you're making beats as opposed to rapping. So I feel like that's one thing that would make me gravitate towards rapping than making beats. But I would say making beats is easier than writing. That's something I've like noticed that for a long time.
How is your writing process? Do you like freestyle then write a little, or are you just all writing all day?
I do both. I kind of like, so when I like hear a beat, or if I get one sent to me and I like listen to it, I could try to like think of a concept, and then I'm like freestyling in my head a lot. And then it gets to a point where I'll have like a whole verse in my head and I won't like write it down on paper for like a couple of weeks just to like fix it first. That way I'm not like writing, because I actually like write on physical paper, like I don't do it on my phone. So I try not to like waste paper or like scratch a lot of things out. So I make sure everything is like perfect and neat when I write it down. So I do, but I like sometimes I'll like think of a line and I'll just like write it down on my phone, and then I'll just like write it down on paper when the time is right for me to say it. So it's both. It's definitely both.
Yeah. How long would you say you generally spend like cultivating tracks? I mean, your lyrical content is definitely up there. It seems like it would take a long time to produce, but you at the same time you feel like you release a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with the production side, you have like 2 tapes on YouTube just of like what you call throwaway beats.
Yeah. So for making beats, it kind of, I know like me making it takes about like within like 5 to 10 minutes. Once I get the sample, I'll already have the idea, just put the drums on it and stuff like that, or I just won't use no drums.
Right.
Finishing it would take about a day, to like a couple of days, to like a couple of weeks, just to make sure, like, do I want it to sound like this throughout the whole beat? Do I want to switch it up? Do I want to add like a bridge or something like that? And I feel like that's more of a difficult part, because you never know who like wants to use it. So I like usually wait until I have a use for the beat then figure that out.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. You kind of just make like the beat itself, and
Yeah.
then once you figure out if you're gonna do something with it lyrically, or if you're gonna give it to another artist, then you like
I'll
add
finish it based
intros,
off that.
outros,
Hell yeah.
bridge, all that shit.
And I just feel like that's more convenient instead of me having it made a certain way. Then the person that I give it to is like, I need it to be like this instead of that. Then it's just like a whole process.
Yeah. So it's just like kind of getting like the blueprint to start with.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what a lot of my beats are. They're just like blueprints. With over like the last couple of years, like I've made like over 1,000 beats.
Wow.
And most of them are just blueprints. Like I have like, I think almost like 1,100 on my laptop, like as of right now, within the last, I would say, 3-4 years maybe.
Yeah, it's
and
incredible.
that's with me like deleting stuff too. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely an insane work ethic. I was also kind of curious about what kind of some of your interests are outside of like your artistic pursuits. Like I saw you have a song like Willis Reed.
Yeah.
You a big basketball fan?
Yeah, I love basketball, man. Shout out to the Lakers.
Facts.
I'm a big Lakers fan. Sports. I've always loved sports. I played basketball when I was in school. I did track when I was in high school. I always wanted to play baseball, but I like did it too late, and I was like doing track, so I kind of wanted to like, merge into two sports. But I like sports, like football. I'm an Eagles fan. Sports is one thing that's been there. That was like, I don't want to say my first love because I feel like I gravitated towards music first, but sports was always, it was either or for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What was it that like kind of drove you to that made
To
you fall in
sports?
love with, yeah.
I don't even know. I guess when I was like younger, I just seen like the big kids playing it, and I just always thought it was cool. So I was just like, yeah, like just let me. I like fuck around and like play sports. And then I remember I was like doing music and sports when I was in middle school, and I ended up getting like kicked off the basketball team for like behavior issues.
Oh, shit.
And then at that point, I was like, all right, since I'm not on the basketball team, let me continue making music. And then from there on, it's just like the rest was history.
Yeah,
From there,
there's definitely two like kind of common dreams like for kids. Like I definitely grew up like I was a huge baseball guy.
Hell yeah.
Also playing football in high school and then starting in college. Like that was what I was into.
I just feel like it, like in some weird way, it helps you get to where what you actually want to do. Because I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of musicians, they were doing sports and then they just like somehow gravitated towards music, which is like, it's really weird because there's a lot of rappers and singers that are actually good at basketball and like other sports as well. So it's kind of, I just feel like it's a common ground for everybody.
I feel like it's just two different types of grinds too. Like music's definitely like more intellectual and also just like the grind, like touring late nights in the studio, stuff like that, but not like as much on like the physical side. Like being an athlete.
I feel like it connects to both. Like a lot of athletes, they love music. Like with LeBron James hanging out with 2 Chainz and him going to like help him finish his album, like and then a lot of musicians going to the basketball games, like actually hanging out with these dudes and like so it's definitely a connection between like music and sports.
Yeah, facts. It's like the old like joke, like so every ball player wants to be a rapper and vice versa. We were joking yesterday, like we said like do you think a rapper's made it when they have like LeBron doing that Instagram video like bobbing his head?
That's a fact. I need one of those, dude. The day I get that, that's it, bro. That'll be
that's when you'll know you made it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Well, what do you got to come besides the album come in February? What do we got to expect 2020?
I have a mini doc coming soon. That's gonna be dropping before the album. I'm definitely, that's not gonna, You Should Be Sorry isn't like the only project I'm gonna be dropping. I have like a couple collaborative projects coming out. Devil Don't Sleep 2 is coming out this year.
Fire.
And I've been thinking about shooting a short film this summer, so that may be coming out this year as well too. So it's just a lot. I'm just gonna try to like push my boundaries this year, just with it being a new decade and it being a new year. Like I'm trying to like set a footprint here, because I've only been like dropping like one project. Like I've never dropped like, especially like just with one rap project, I've always dropped one project a year. So now it's like, let me see if I can drop more than one. So I'm just gonna try to like go for the gusto this year. Just like go hard.
All out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Rhakim Ali for pulling up once again. He's got mad coming for y'all in 2020. Make sure you stay tuned. We're gonna have all his shit in our description so you don't miss out. links to socials. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned.